How would you like the framework to be mentally bulletproof? Mental bulletproofness or resilience is a skill that you can learn. In fact, it's the most important skill to develop yourself, to have more health, more strength, more vitality, more longevity in your life. But it will also create you to be a better business person, a better person in a relationship. Resilience is the ability to adapt to any stress and changes. Right now, we see a world that's evolving very quickly, whether it be AI technology disrupting how we work. We have a new administration come in to the presidency that has caused a mix of emotions, including people who are excited to people being very angry. We have all these challenges. Just a few years ago, we had the pandemic hit. Why were some people contracted the virus, end up in the ICU and lose their lives? Why did other people contract the virus but barely felt any symptoms? How did they develop that resilience? Why did some organizations completely falter when the virus hit, lose talent, went bankrupt, while other organizations continued to become magnets even through that change? How do some individuals and organizations reach optimal health, longevity, peak performance, no matter what the outside circumstance? What trait allows individuals and organizations to thrive through pressure and change while others merely survive? The answer is resilience, which is really going to allow you to have mental bulletproofness. Mental bulletproofness, or should I say mental toughness? Let's throw that in there. Hey, I'm Dr. Kien, triple board certified MD, performance and longevity expert, and I guide individuals, organizations, and brands reach higher levels of productivity, performance, elevating their potential for success. In this video, I'm going to teach you the framework for resilience. This is something that I actually give keynotes on, and we have workshops really developing the skill set that is resilience. So resilience isn't something that is born or genetic within people. This is something you develop like a muscle. And there are 3 things we're going to go over on this video. So after this video, you'll learn not only how to become more resilient, but how to actually create this resilience and growth that you have to transform yourself, your organizations, your family into what you want it to be, into the greatness it is potentially capable of being. Look, if you are an individual that is a parent, that is a teacher, that is a leader, you're gonna need this skill so that you could serve your children, so that you could serve your organization, so that you could serve your loved one. Because things are going to happen. There's going to be things that knock us off of center. So building resilience is going to be super important. Or you might be a leader of a family, of a team, of an organization, and recognize there are things that are going to be coming outside. Laws will change, policies will change, a pandemic will come. There'll be all these outside forces that knock us off of center. And it's our resilience and our ability to be resilient, which is our number 1 trait for us to become stronger, for us to move through it, and for us to transform into the entities that we know we are capable of being. So here's the framework for resilience and transformation. The first is a concept called adaptive capacity. And this is something we learn from actually studying the human body and from studying cells. Now, the cells in our body, each already has the unique ability to heal and to be resilient. However, every single cell has a fixed amount of ATP, and that ATP has to be used for driving growth processes or driving repair processes. So because we have a fixed amount of energetic space, every time we do a task, we use up energy, and then we have to replenish the energy. So it's all about doing something and being able to recover from something. So our adaptive capacity is our ability to be able to take a stress, recover from it. So what are the important things to be able to develop our adaptive capacity? Well, in my book, Thrive State, and if you haven't picked it up already, go to thrivestatebook.com where I go through all the details. It goes through the 7 pillars that we most need to worry about to create a thriving state for ourselves and our human body. They are sleep, nutrition, and movement, our thoughts and what we focus on, the feelings we feel, the relationships that we're a part of, and then also whether or not we're living with a sense of purpose. Now, we could either make choices, one of those areas of life that stress out our body, or we could make choices in our life that actually helps heal and regenerate our body. So what type of choices are you making? That's going to affect your adaptive capacity. So if you're not sleeping well, if you're eating inflammatory foods, if you're sitting around all day, if you're fully stressed out by the thoughts that you're focused on, things that you can't control or things that you don't have, if your emotions are stuck in worry, anxiety, fear, if you have energy vampires in your life that are just sucking your energy away, and if you're always thinking, me, 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 how do I get more? How do I do more? If you're just focused on yourself rather than focusing on just being you and serving you, all those things affect your adaptive capacity. So if you're making these unconscious choices of treating your body badly, all the ATP is now centered across trying to fix the inflammation, trying to fix all the things that you're doing, and so your adaptive capacity is low. When you have a low adaptive capacity, you're not going to be able to grow through stress. So a lot of people sometimes ask me, is intermittent fasting good? Are red light therapies and cold plunges good? Those are actually stressors for your body. And I tell people, if you are a healthy person, that stress will allow you to become stronger. However, if you're making unconscious choices that are stressing out your body more, like you're not eating well, you're not sleeping well, and you add in high intensity interval training, what it's gonna do is it's gonna break your body down. So focus on your adaptive capacity. This means treating your body well, focusing on those 7 pillars that I talk about in my book, Thrive State, because that will allow you to be able to handle stress. That is the first thing you need to understand about the framework for resilience, growth, and transformation is adaptive capacity. And you get your adaptive capacity by being in the Thrive State, by focusing on the 7 pillars I just talked about. So that's really adaptive capacity. Now, what we've learned is people in their Thrive State, people with the ability to succeed in life, when we look at those people in organizations, those organizations outperform other organizations in the stock market by tenfold. They actually reduce the amount of mental health issues that they have in the workplace that has actually costed the world trillions of dollars in lost productivity and performance. So developing adaptive capacity is one of the best things you can do for yourself, for your families, and your organizations. If this is something you want to work with my team about this on, check it out on the links below or visit my website at kienvu.com. Now, the second thing that is important in this framework of resilience is recognizing a resilience mindset. And I give us the story of the amoeba. Now, an amoeba is this single-celled organism. And what we've discovered with this amoeba, if you place a stress on the amoeba, you actually change the temperature, you take away nutrients, you stress it with some physical stressors, but you allow that amoeba some time to recover, it actually makes that amoeba more resilient, stronger, and they live longer than the amoebas that never got that stress at all. Now, this is something that social psychologist Jim Lohr had demonstrated, that growth and resilience, there's a formula for it. Growth and resilience happens with stress and then time to recover. So that's something you have to adopt as well. For me to grow this muscle, and here I am showing this muscle I have, for me to grow that muscle has to have some resistance. So the resistance and stress is actually a component to build growth and resilience. So one of the things to understand for a resilient mindset is to know that the stresses that are in your life are there to grow you, are there to develop you, are there to make you a stronger person, more resilient person, a person to live longer. And so can we swap out the mindset of why are things happening to me for how things are happening for me? Recognizing that every single stress or challenge or obstacle has been gifted to you in life so that you could become the better version of yourself. But the important thing is, again, allowing that time for recovery, because unmitigated stress without time for recovery will actually lead to chronic symptoms and chronic disease. But if you give something stress, allow it time to recover, you will have a stronger ecosystem, a stronger entity. That is the concept of hormesis. The most successful leaders in businesses don't falter and don't just survive through hard times. They actually use it as leverage, as the fuel to grow stronger, to go better, to become a better version of themselves through the process. That is the resilience mindset. That's when you take these stresses, these challenges, these changes, which are gonna bring about emotions. You know, I was just at the Maha Ball when some people were super excited about the presidency, and then we had some people that were super angry. Change and stress is gonna bring a mixed amount of emotions. But if you could settle those emotions down and you ground yourself, well, that's gonna lead us to the third most important component of this entire framework, which is how do we grow? How do we use this resilience to transform ourselves into better people and organizations? And so the last thing I want to share in this resilience framework is actually how do you use this growth and resilience you're getting from challenges, from struggles, and how does that transform you into the best version of you? How do you use that to transform an organization into something that's fully thriving? The last element is really understanding your values, what you believe in, what you stand for, because that's all you need. It's a consistent, persistent pursuit of your values and your passions and what you say they are that's going to drive transformation. So Jim Lohr said that change or stress or pressure given time will give you growth and resilience. If you take that growth and resilience and you give it a direction with a passion, with values, with a direction, that will lead to transformation. What do I mean by this? So say I want to be the healthiest version of me, say I want to be the strongest version of me. Well, what are the things that are going to happen throughout my life in order for me to do so? Well, it's one, taking on the weights, taking on the resistance at the gym, being able to get myself disciplined so that I work on these things that are going to grow me. But what is my value? My value is to become healthy. My value is so that I could serve at my very, very best by being the healthiest version of myself. And so whenever I'm knocked with something, like the rain comes down and I don't feel like going to the gym, or say I am going to the airport and there's no healthy food that's there. What do you do in those situations where your emotions and things get knocked off and you get that change? Well, one, you focus on your values. All right, so it's raining today, but I'm committed to the healthiest version of myself. I'm gonna put on those shoes anyway. So it's easy to build resilience when you know your values, because when life knocks you out, all you have to do is remember who you are, who you want to be. Do you want to be generous? Do you want to be loved? Do you want to be connected? Do you want to be this higher version of yourself? Set those values as to how you make your decisions when you get knocked off, and just decide to do that. This is why it's so important to define those values, to know those values, and to know those values come from you, from your soul. So let me ask you a question. The values that you currently have, does it come from this deep place inside? Does your organization have these deep values to truly help the people in your organization and the people that you serve outside? This is something that I've guided hundreds of individuals and organizations with in our deep technology that we use to uncover the true values of your soul, the soul of your organization, the soul and heart of who you are as a person. This is the resilience framework. It's number one, having adaptive capacity, knowing to focus on your pillars so that you can adapt to change. Two, developing that resilience mindset, knowing that change, that pressure will come to strengthen you. And then finally, what to do when you're knocked off centered. Coming up, knowing your values, knowing your purpose, your guiding star will allow you to know how to act during times of change. Now, I hope this framework has been useful for you. If I could help you or your organization in any way elevate you to your next level, to your next potential, please reach out to my team with the links below or find more information at my website, kienvu.com. This is Dr. Kien Vu reminding you always that you are your best medicine. Hey, if you like this video on resilience, make sure you like this video, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of this content, and subscribe. It's gonna help this channel grow. Connect with me down in the comments below. Let me know, is resilience something that you want in your life? What change in your life are you struggling with right now? I want to engage with you. I want to help you because I know you are your best medicine.